Hi, good to see you all. I know it's been a while since I made a video. I have been on the DL, just taking care of myself, and wanted to give you a bladder cancer update. I am really trying to reframe the way I talk about having bladder cancer. I think I claim it too much. I went to a workshop on self-love and self-esteem. It's a virtual workshop. And, language is powerful. And you know what? I don't want to claim having all my illnesses. I know I write about it that way. It's been in my bio. These are life conditions. They don't have to be permanent. And I know I am working to try to get well all the time. And I'm on a journey. I have good days, I have bad days. I am in the middle of treatment right now. I am doing a course of immunotherapy using the drug Keytruda. I'm tolerating it pretty well. I continue to do whatever it is that Sloan Kettering Memorial Cancer Center tells me I should try to do in order to keep my kidney in my body, because when my kidney goes, lots of other organs are going to follow. And, to the degree that I have any agency and power at all, I'm doing my share. What does that mean? It means I'm essentially a vegetarian now. Not happy with the amount of carbs I eat, but I am happy with the reduction in meat proteins in my life. And I've even become much more, I guess, not interested in even fish and seafood, which is what I've been allowing myself for protein. So basically, most of my proteins right now come from egg whites, an occasional egg with yolk. And while it's a little ambiguous about whether or not I should be having beans in my life or not, I've had some measures of beans for protein. I don't have nuts. I don't eat peanut butter or almond butter or anything like that. I mean, protein is just not good for a kidney that's losing a lot of function. And I am trying to preserve my only kidney. I am drinking over a gallon of water a day. Most days I'm doing close to 144 ounces of water a day, which means I spend a lot of time voiding the water. And that's supposed to be good too for a number of reasons. One is it flushes out my kidney. Two is it's helping my blood circulate better. When I go do these treatments, they have a hell of a time getting needles into my vein. That's always been a problem. I have very shallow and small veins, which is another reason why I'm petrified about dialysis. I also don't like the blood pressure cuffs, and that'll be a fact of life should I go on dialysis, because I think for the entire 3 or 4 hour session they're draining your blood out of you and pumping it back in. After they clean it through the machine, you're hooked up to a blood pressure cuff. But look, it's better than dying, right? So I suppose whatever comes, I'll handle it. And but I am paying a lot of attention to what I eat and what I drink. And I've also started walking. Now, for those of you who know, I've been struggling with walking. I have many degenerative discs in my spine, and I have inflammation quite often that particularly hits my sciatica and hits my piriformis muscle in my butt. And I also have, and this is part and parcel of the Keytruda as well, intermittent swelling of various joints and inflammation. So walking's not easy, but I was inspired by a friend, and I have taken to walking, even if it's just, up and down the street here one time. To get out, to move my body, to breathe air, even frigid air, has been very restorative and helpful to me. And I pray one day down the road I'll be able to walk a mile. But I'm starting with the first steps now. And that's been helpful. And, attending to my emotional health, this is very hard, having chronic illnesses and battling cancer for as long as I've been battling. It's taken a toll on me. It takes a toll on Kay. It's hard on my family, my friends. And, I thank God I'm in the game, but it does wear on you. And I find it very necessary to just put a lot of support in my life. Rest is important. I'm really getting better at that. My mind is very activated. I have this overwhelming sense that I just got to get a lot of stuff done before my physical condition changes. There's a high percentage chance it will. I do leave room for some hope that it won't, at least not imminently. But, I am not entirely in control of this. I do my part, and the rest is up to a power much greater than me. So the emotional piece is hard, but I do work hard through reading victorious stories of others who have gone through serious medical issues. I find myself clinging more to the history of Black people and brown people and Native people around the world and their struggles. I try to rely on my cultural strengths and think about my mom a lot, my grandmom, and how hard life was for them and how they fashioned out a life, how they survived, thrived. And I know I have a lot of that inside of me as well. And certainly I spend a lot of time sort of transforming my pain and, into purpose. I know that sounds cliche, but it is what I try to do. And I do feel like I have purpose. I miss being a practicing clinical social worker. I miss being out in the world, and as we all do, miss being out in the world. And I do the best I can with managing the grief that fills me with. And I figured out a way through writing, through supporting organizations who do the things I care about to the degree that I can. I mean, I can't always give money because living on disability and a fixed income, it ain't easy. And I have to make tough decisions all the time about money, but the struggle for justice continues, and I'm always going to be part of that struggle. And I pray for more health and more strength to get back in the fight. And that brings me to sort of the biggest area I think I try to work around is sort of my spiritual fitness. And it's very easy to get busy with things, even as I lay on my back and, my laptop's balanced on my belly, or I'm doing stuff on my phone because it's hard to sit up often. But, God has blessed me with a brain, sometimes an overactive brain, sometimes a quite distracted brain, just lots of thoughts. I find myself like sort of running through 61 years of life and trying to understand it, trying to make meaning of it, trying to tease out, like, are there parts of my life that could be useful to others, the lessons I've learned, the struggles and the triumphs. And I don't know if this is like driven more by the fact that I feel like a big change is coming, where I'll be out of the game for a while, I'll have physical challenge, where I'll be bereft in grief because I will have lost a kidney and a ureter and my bladder and my adrenal gland and my uterus and my fallopian tubes and my ovaries and part of my vagina, my urethra, my cervix. I mean, losing parts of myself. That's what's coming down the pike. And I find myself wanting so much to just prepare mentally and spiritually and emotionally for that. And part of that is clearing off projects that I've been thinking about for a really long time. Like getting my mother's book done. That was a huge lift and a huge thing to accomplish. And I was driven and am driven to just see that book continue to make it out into the world. And I learned a lesson this weekend that perhaps my zealousness of wanting so deeply to get the book into the world that I might have offended people. I might have come off as aggressive in promoting the book. It's never my intention to offend anybody. I just think the context for it is that I have a bit of mania about just trying to get things done, and I have some boxes of books here in my house, and I like to see them in people's hands. And but I could see people being annoyed by me sending repeated text messages and emails about purchasing the book, and for that, I'm deeply sorry if anyone listening to this felt that way. But that's a little context for it. And I also just signed a contract with a colleague of mine, good friend, Dr. Deborah Brooks Lawrence from New York City, Columbia University. Just amazing older Black woman that I've befriended, and that Dr. Steve brought into my life. And we're writing this book together called Inherited Wisdom right now. That's the name of it. It may change, but it's basically a book about lifting up Black youth by using the lessons of ex-slaves. And this is a book that's based on the dissertation I wrote in 2009. And what a dream come true to be able to put that book into the world, which is what I'm turning my attention to right now with Deborah. And we signed a contract just a few days back with Cognella Academic Publishing to put this book into the world. So God is blessing me, and the fruits of the labor are coming to be, and my mother is shining down, and maybe she's raining down these opportunities for me. Hard work, a bit of luck, certainly the love and support of mentors like Steve. And it's humbling and it's wonderful, and it's work to be done. And yesterday I had a big meltdown about that, because sometimes my mind is willing and the body isn't. And I put a lot of pressure on myself to be very productive. And so dealing with chronic illnesses and my chronic form of cancer and being in the midst of treatment, all these sort of things, they have a way of humbling you. And I am humbled. I'm humbled by the reality of what it is. There's limitations sometimes, missed opportunities, grief, extraordinary challenge, hope, possibility, gratitude. This is where I am today. So I have one more treatment with Keytruda in a couple weeks, and then I'll get some scans and they'll see if it worked. They being Sloan Kettering. And hopefully the scans will show that the cancer's gone. Wow, that would be amazing. I have a 38 to 40% chance that that could happen. And that's the chance we're taking. We're also getting the second shot of Moderna, Kay and I, this coming week. And we're happy about that. I know a lot of people aren't getting the shot. I have some mixed feelings about that. I understand it. I understand particularly how institutions have failed people and exploited people in the name of research and science. I also know that things changed in the 70s and research protocols have changed. I am thankful to people who expose things like the Tuskegee so-called experiments and Henrietta Lacks and what her family did, and that amazing reporter, that journalism student who tracked that story down and made such a revolutionary and radical change with Johns Hopkins and Henrietta Lacks. So with good reason, people are suspicious about, especially Black folk, are suspicious about these vaccinations. I get it. But I also get that this pandemic needs to be quashed. Coronavirus has to be quashed. And this sister, this Black woman who invented, this researcher, who I believe God sparked the divine genius in her to give us this vaccination. I think it'll make a big difference. I really do. We have to stop corona from transmitting between people. It's the only way to get back to normal. I desperately want normal. I miss normal. I miss my friends, my family, my grandchildren. I miss the theater. I miss shows. I miss walking around in nature without masks. I miss hanging out in restaurants and clubs. I miss it all. And I believe the way forward, the way to get there is to do my part, which is to take this vaccination. And we all have to do it. I believe the number is 75% of Americans need to do it. And these new strains that are coming, oh my God, you know, the time is now. So I overcame this fear and distrust, this justifiable distrust of institutions that have historically abused and continue to abuse and exploit Black people. I get it. But I'm stepping out on faith. And I took the shot. And I'm going to take the second shot. And I'm going to... So I can do. Just like with the election with Biden-Harris, right? It's like I had to do my part. I had to go vote. I had one vote. That's all I had. And that one vote made a difference. And life's going to get better. It already is. So, like I said, I think about a lot of things. I perseverate on a lot of things. I'm trying to clear off a lot of things on my desk. I do not want to unfairly burden my wife when should I have this big procedure, go on dialysis for 5 years before I could qualify for a kidney transplant. That's because of the cancer. And so I'm trying to really prepare myself spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, should that eventuality happen. And I'm going to tell you one last thing. How I get through it, how I go day by day, and it is a day by day thing. That's all I do is I look at 24 hours. That's it. What can I do in this one day that gets me through sanely, as pain-free as I can be, as happy as I can be, just in a day. And part of how I get through is because of love and support I get from so many people. And, I say this all the time. Like, for me, I have mixed feelings about social media and the technology, place we are with technology today. The texting and this, that, and the other, and the emails. But I tell you, when I am laying flat on my back, I can communicate with people. And for me, life is really simple. It's simple. I eat 3 meals a day with kidney-friendly foods. I drink enough water to keep my kidney and my body and my blood good. I do what I can do, and then I rest. I rest. And I connect to the people I love and care about. Kay always says to me, I don't know how you do it. You have a very high standard of communications with people. I just know it's my lifeline to every single person I communicate with and all the networks of friends from my childhood, college, high school, friends in different jobs, all the people I stay connected to, friends in my healing circles, in my self-care world, in my self-help world, that it's what allows me to feel joy in the midst of the sorrow and the suffering and the pain. And if I didn't have that, I'd have no hope. I wouldn't be able to smile. I wouldn't have love in my heart. And I wouldn't receive all the blessings I receive. Because my life is filled with blessings. Just too many to name. And that's where it's at. That's where I'm at. And I know I haven't talked to you in a long time. I don't even know who you are that I'm talking to. I have mixed feelings about videos and YouTube and all this too. Like, it's nothing simple. But if you are listening to this, which I appreciate, I hope that it connects to you and with you. And I thank you. I have nothing but gratitude in my heart for you. And just as you wish me well, I wish you well. I wish you abundant wellness and love and happiness. Take good care, folks. I look forward to the day we can all sit around the table together, share a meal, talk, laugh, hug, love. I look forward to that. Peace and blessings.